sip coffee and meet and greet. I didn't have any idea what we ordered us too.
You did a good job.
My wife did. Bill and Marilyn, just that y'all are here, where those transformers are.
I attended Sanger from about 1960 to 1966 and walked to school, walked home. Miss Holland was my fourth grade teacher.
When I taught at Sanger in 1963, I had just graduated from Baylor University. I was hired as a floating teacher. I enjoyed it very much. Enjoyed the teachers. They were always willing to help.
I think it gave you self-confidence because the teachers did want you to succeed. It just made me love school.
I attended Sanger Elementary when I was in the 5th and 6th grade. We had a lot of freedom, in fact. I remember some really fun things that we did. It was a fun learning environment.
As a small child, you don't really comprehend what you have. So as you look back on it, it was a tremendous experience. They cared about you. Your parents were involved. Everybody was there for you to succeed.
Had there been a vote, I probably would have been voted the worst student that ever attended Sanger Avenue. I spent the 1st through the 6th grade sitting in the cloakroom at Sanger Avenue. Now, I got through because my mother was a teacher.
I won't ever forget that first day holding my mother's hand. We walked through that archway to walk up those steps and get to that middle floor.
I remember that as just a fun time. Never excelled, in fact, barely scraped by, but I had fun at school.
We were the youngest in our class, and the girls didn't like us, they liked the older boys. So that was a real problem growing up in those days.
I remember it was a very positive environment, and Miss Nina, who was there the entire time I was, she was such an encouraging person, and every morning she would come up to me and I'm sure every other girl and say, "How was my princess today?"
I would definitely remember Miss Nina and her dresses and her heels.
Nina B. Glass wore long flowing dresses almost every day to school.
I think she impacted the whole atmosphere, environment of the school. She was flashy. She was sweet.
I did spend a heck of a lot of time in Miss Nina's office.
Me too.
And that was about the most severe punishment that anyone could get, is to have to go to Miss Nina's office.
My main picture in my mind of Miss Nina was standing on the back steps, the ones facing forward, with her handbell every morning, telling us it was time to come inside.
Also, the May Fete, that was completely unique to my experience.
It was a big celebration every May, but the yard was absolutely filled with chairs and with parents sitting there to watch this May Fete production.
I noticed that one huge oak tree down there we used to play under on the southeast corner.
That oak tree was big when we were little. It's still there.
Still big.
I learned that the library was the neatest place in the building. Miss McClintock in there was always there to help you. And I love to read, and I still have that today.
The librarian, Miss McClintock, Faye McClintock, would bring books from her home to give to me because I'd read everything in the library.
Mrs. Warfield had a clanger bell as well, just mimicking Miss Nina. There were 2 or 3 rules about getting back to your classroom. That is, you do not skip steps when you walk up the stair steps. The whole entertainment after recess is over is to try to get in there, and when Mrs. Warfield wasn't looking at you, you would skip a step, so you get one up on her.
Exciting times.
The teachers I remember most was my first grade teacher, Miss Askren. She lived across the alley from us. Then there was Miss Quay, the 4th grade teacher. Miss Quay was very unusual. She wore an apron every day to school, and she dipped snuff while she was in class. And I'd never had another teacher do that.
There's a closeness to people who went to Sanger that you might not find at other elementary schools. It was just a special time and the building itself was special.
It was just such a foundational experience for the rest of my education.
As I grow older and live in the community, I find more people from time to time that grew up in Sanger, even though I was there for just 1 year. But
You hate to see something like that go away because that was the center of a lot of things. And it was just a community.
Sanger Avenue helped equip me because it was just a good, strong, confidence-building sort of a place. A lot of the people that went there as students have parents like mine who are no longer with us and can no longer tell those stories. We won't be here to tell these stories, and so it's important to honor the past of significant seasons in this city and other cities in our country, because if we don't, so much is lost of what has made us who we are.